Hi everybody, welcome back to Climate Change Calculated. Today a Corona update number 6 about the Delta variant and the Omicron variant. If you're interested, stay tuned. So first a comparison to the same time last year. Last December we had mostly the original variant and no vaccinations. This year in December we have the Delta variant and about 60% of the population in Germany is vaccinated. So first let's compare the average daily death rate for this year and last year, and we can do that in my plot 8a above. This is now the plot of the death rate per million inhabitants internationally. So here we can see Slovakia has a particularly high rate. So here we have about 17 deaths per day per million inhabitants. Germany is also relatively high at about 4 to 5 death cases per million inhabitants daily. And a similar rate has the US. So the US also is 4 to 5. And when we go back to December last year, we can see, so here we get to it. So here in December in Germany we also had about 5 daily death cases per million inhabitants, also similar to the US. So we saw that actually there is a very similar daily death rate, but now let's also take a look at the 7-day incidence, my plot 5, between December of this year and December of last year, and there we will see it actually is a considerable difference. Yes, so here you can see the 7-day incidence per 100,000 inhabitants internationally, and you can see Slovakia here has extremely high values at about 1,400, and you can also see that Germany has quite high values of over 400 and now going down to about 300. And when you compare it to December of last year, so here you go, it's there it was 200 or slightly below, so much lower. The US actually last year in December had much higher values than Germany, so now actually Germany has somewhat higher values than the US. We can see that we have a similar death rate, but about a 3 times higher 7-day incidence. Because of the vaccination rate, only about a third of the population can become fully infected, but the virus evolved through natural selection to adapt to it. Hence the Corona Delta variant became 3 times more infectious, such that the result is about the same death rate as a year ago. This leads me to the herd immunity. The herd immunity is the percentage of vaccinated or recovered at which the growth of the number of infected people stops. The original variant had a herd immunity of about 66% vaccinated or recovered, which you can read more about it in this article. The Delta variant needs about 90%, so considerably higher, which you can also read in this link here. And this can probably only be reached with a vaccination mandate because of this high number. This is also a communications issue. If it is voluntary, too many people interpret it as not necessary. In November 2021, the even more infectious Omicron variant was discovered in South Africa. The spread of the Omicron variant in different countries can be observed with a steep increase of the concurrently sick and the 7-day incidences in my plot 5. This then leads to an even bigger vaccination requirement for herd immunity. So this is now my plot 5, and now we can use this tool set here to zoom into November and December to see the steep increase because of the Omicron variant. Let's do that. So I'm taking this part here. So here we can see South Africa down here, and we can see here in the beginning of November there was not much going on. But then when the Omicron variant started, we had this steep increase here in the number of cases, the 7-day incidence. And we can also see a similar steep increase here in the US. So this was probably also the rise of the Omicron variant in the US, which in the meantime also has a dominant Omicron spread. And we can also observe it here in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain, where we have this steep increase because of the Omicron variant, which is dominating in the UK now. Here, some more data on the Omicron variant, which is also called B1.1.529. It was first reported to the World Health Organization from South Africa on November 24th, 2021. So it's not that long ago. You can read it here in this article. And according to this article, it has a doubling time of about 3.2 to 3.6 days, or an average of 3.4. You can also look at my plot 10 above, and there the daily factor of increase of the concurrently sick in South Africa on November 26 was already 1.46, corresponding to a doubling time of just 1.8 days. So that was in the beginning. As comparison, Germany with its dominant Delta variant on November 26 had a factor of increase of just 1.04, or a doubling time of 18 days, so 10 times that much. Hence, Omicron is much more infectious than even the Delta variant. On December 19th, South Africa managed to bring it down to a factor of 1.05, corresponding to a doubling rate of 14 days. So here you can see my plot 10, the 7-day average of daily factor of increase of concurrently sick. So here is the beginning of the outbreak of the Omicron variant in South Africa. And you can see here it goes beyond 1.4. So this is a very steep increase in the number of concurrently sick. And you can see in the meantime, South Africa managed to bring this factor down considerably, significantly. And at the same time, you can see that Germany had a much lower factor here, the factor of increase, with its Delta variant. So this difference shows you how much more infectious the Omicron variant is. Yeah, now it would be interesting to see how fatal Omicron actually is. The UK publishes detailed numbers of the Omicron spread here in this link, where SGTF means S gene target failure, which is a testing and indication of Omicron. Up to December 20, there were 14 Omicron deaths in the UK. Assuming as above that it takes 16 days or more from detection to possible death, we can sum the number of infected from November 5th to December 4, from which the death likely came from, which is 1,208 Omicron cases. This leads to the case fatality rate of about 14 divided by 1208 is about 1.2%. But keep in mind that still is a rough guess. This would be roughly half as much as earlier variants in Europe, roughly 2%, but with much higher infectiousness. The fatality rate would still be about 10 times as high as for the common flu, which is about 0.1%. The Robert Koch Institute in Germany has weekly data, so unfortunately not daily, but weekly, in this link here. And here you can see that in week 49, which is the beginning of December, we had 183 Omicron cases in Germany, and in the week before it was 44 Omicron cases. Indeed, an increase factor of 4.2 in just a week. So that actually corresponds quite nicely with this factor, with this doubling every 3 days. Okay, that was my evaluation for today for Omicron. Thank you for your attention and see you next time. Bye bye.